everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, bringing to you another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. And the big announcement that has just been made, Triple H will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 2025 and will be the headliner for this year's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And for me, this has been a long time coming. It's been long overdue. And it wasn't a matter of if Triple H will be going in, it was just a case of when he will be going in. And love him or hate him, you cannot deny that this is truly well deserved. And I am super pleased that it's finally happening. And Triple H, through the highs and lows, he has had quite an interesting and amazing career. Some of it is controversial, some of it is highly questionable, but you cannot deny that Triple H has been highly successful and is one of the biggest names in the history of professional wrestling and is one of the most important figures in the business. And it makes sense for Triple H to be going in because he is coming up to his 30th anniversary since he made his debut back in 1995 as the Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So I think it's only fitting to bring his whole career full circle by having him inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 2025. And since debuting in 1995, Triple H has had quite an interesting evolution, no pun intended. As I said, he started out as the aristocratic blue blood, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and obviously he's experienced some controversies in his career, such as the curtain call with the Click in 1996 in Madison Square Garden, where he broke kayfabe with Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Shawn Michaels. And of course, he was punished for that act. But Triple H, just like he has always done throughout his entire career, he pushed hard and kicked ass, and he would win the King of the Ring in 1997. He would then go on to co-form D-Generation X with Shawn Michaels, Chyna, and Rick Rude, and he would take DX to new heights as the group's leader, and then he would begin a path that would eventually lead him to becoming quite possibly one of the greatest heels ever in the Attitude Era when he became the Game slash the Cerebral Assassin. You name it, Triple H has done it all. 14-time world champion, two-time Royal Rumble winner, Intercontinental champion, European champion, tag team champion, headlined many WrestleManias, formed Evolution with Ric Flair, molded and helped put Randy Orton and Batista as big stars. He started NXT and helped create lots of new stars for that brand. You name it, Triple H has done it all. And he's had legendary rivalries against Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, the man that he would go on to retire. He has also feuded with The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. He would also go on to feud with Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Kane, Edge, CM Punk, Kevin Nash, you name it. Triple H has feuded with everyone, and some of the best feuds involved Triple H. And what made Triple H such an excellent heel, you knew that your position was cemented as a babyface when you would go up against the ultimate heel, and there was no better heel to be in that position and feud with than Triple H. As many people have said, Triple H was always the guy who worked with the guy who was drawing the money or who was the focal point for the company, and he was great in that position. And Triple H, through all of his accomplishments, he's had some questionable things in his career as well. The Reign of Terror, holding the world title with a death grip, burying talents. But aside from all of that stuff, he's also done a lot of good for the business. As much as Triple H has held back talents, he has also helped build up talents and also given them credibility and given them the ultimate rub. You knew when you were paired up with Triple H, your career was made. There was no question about it. And as I said, he was an amazing heel. I always looked at him and Vince as kind of like neck and neck for the title of the greatest heel. Vince McMahon was always the man you'd love to hate. Triple H, on the other hand, he was the guy you wanted to see get murdered. He was so hated and so evil. The heat he would get was just nuclear. I can't think of any heel in the Attitude Era other than Vince McMahon who was more hated than Triple H. And of course, outside of the ring, Triple H hooked up with Stephanie McMahon. Initially, they got together on screen as the McMahon Helmsley regime, and then they would get married in real life, and then Triple H would slowly work his way up to being part of one of the main figures for the company. And now, with Vince McMahon gone, Triple H is essentially running the whole thing. So, who'd ever thought that the long, blonde haired, posh snob from Greenwich, Connecticut, who debuted in 1995, would end up running the whole business? If you had told me that Hunter Hearst Helmsley would be running the whole thing in Vince McMahon's position, I would have said, give that guy a year, he'll be gone. He won't even be around to run the company. But yet, here he is. He's running the whole thing. And I have to say, since he took over the company, he's done a fantastic job. There's still some bugs to work out. It's not been 100% perfect, but I can honestly tell you now that it's become a lot more watchable since Hunter took over. And, when Vince was in charge, especially those final years, it was painful to watch. But now that Hunter's taken over, it's been a lot better. We still got a long way to go, but so far, so good. But I'm really glad that Triple H is finally going into the Hall of Fame. It is a bit of a bummer that he's no longer an active wrestler after he was forced to retire due to suffering a cardiac arrest. So he can never wrestle again. But I'm really glad that he got to have one final WrestleMania match, and it was against Batista. So I'm really glad about that. But yes, Triple H is finally going into the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, much earned, long overdue, and I'm really glad it's finally happening. And the question now is, who's going to induct him into the Hall of Fame? It's a good question. Who could it be? Who should it be? Is the question. I think it will probably be Shawn Michaels. I think being his best friend, all the stuff they went through together, I think it probably will end up being Shawn Michaels. My personal choice, I think it should be Stephanie McMahon because she's been with him in and out of the ring, and she has played a huge part in his career, both inside the ring and outside the ring. I think it would just make more sense if it's Stephanie being his wife. But if it's Shawn Michaels, I'm happy with that too. You know, whether it's Shawn Michaels or Stephanie McMahon who inducts Triple H into the Hall of Fame, it's all good to me. It doesn't really matter. I'm not fussed. Both are great, but I'm just really glad it's finally happening. So, anyway, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. How do you guys feel about Triple H going into the WWE Hall of Fame 2025? Are you excited? Is it well deserved? Do you think Triple H has earned it? And who do you think should induct him? Do you think it should be Shawn Michaels or do you think it should be Stephanie McMahon? What was your favourite Triple H feud? Was it with The Rock, Stone Cold, Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, or Batista? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.